everyone, there again. In class part, we were talking about microorganisms introduction. We also learn about different types of microorganisms and how come they're good for us. And that's how my charging is getting down and it's on charging now. Sorry, it was my laptop giving me notification. So in this part, we are going to talk about how come they're good for us because I mentioned it already. Microorganisms are of two types, good and bad, not the type. So how come they're good to us? So that's what I'm going to cover, and let me just share my screen. Grade 8 microorganism, putting on the slideshow. I'm just confirming it whether you can see my screen. Yes, you can. Okay, dear, so let's proceed further. In this part, as I have told you how come they are good for us, that's what we are going to talk over. So we will be talking about the beneficial microorganisms. We will be talking about food and the beverage industry. Because actually beneficial microorganism has a number of categories. So under it, into the food and beverage industry we'll be talking about, and then medicines and vaccines also the one that we will be covering. Okay, ignore the background sound if you hear, but I don't think there is. So beneficial microorganism, I should have put some effects in the presentation, but it's already there. I'm going to move back. Why? Reason being, if this question come in your paper, then how come microorganisms are good? Think about all the point that is striking up your mind. I give you 1 minute to think about this. Come on, think about this. How come microorganisms are good for you? I mean, go into your kitchen mentally. You're eating bread, cake, you're eating dosa, you're eating bakery products, any kind of. You're eating curd. You're taking some fermented drink. Not the alcohol, but there are a number of fermented drink. So these are the places where microorganisms are used. Other than that, think about all the places where microorganisms can be used. Yes, you're thinking it right. Into the manure vermicomposting thing. That is the microorganisms are the one that helps in decomposition, and they help in composting, vermicomposting process. You're saying it right. They help in nitrogen fixation. I suppose you cheated upon to the video that I showed you a few minutes back. Nitrogen cycle. You're saying it correct. Think about more points. And now you might be thinking, I'm not saying the points, ma'am. Why in the recording you are speaking this? It's fine. Doesn't matter. Say it. Okay, now you can do cheating. Decomposers, nitrogen fixing, they are the one helping sewage and producing biogas from the waste. Biogas plant are there. Ruminant have cellulose digesting bacteria, which is known as cellulase. So this cellulase is actually the enzyme which is present in the bacteria that helps in cellulose digestion, but ruminant have. Even we do have E. coli in our stomach that helps in digestion. So while we eat the food, they are the friends to us. They're helping us to digest. So that point is there. Antibiotics like penicillin, penicillium is the fungi. Antibiotic is obtained from that. That's good for us. Not only penicillin, but there are a number of antibiotics which are good in health sector, and they are obtained from the microorganisms. Products like vinegar and ethanol, and bacteria used in tanning of leather, some bacteria used in research tool. And then you can talk about a number of, what microorganisms are used in biotech. You may say biotechnology, or you may say genetic engineering experiments also. Let me think about more points, because I myself know a number of points, but then when it comes to the discussion, let me think. Okay, so you can mention about the kitchen products. Kitchen work, just mention all the points. Food, fermented food, fermentation, and all those process. Baking industry. Manure point is written there. Okay, you can mention manure. It help in decomposition, so help in making manure and organic manure also. Now let me think about more points. Microorganism. I don't know whether you have heard or not. There is a phenomena which is known as bioremediation. Actually, bioremediation is a branch of bio where they use microorganisms in getting the remedy, or you may say in bioremediation, what happened? This is definition where microorganisms are converting toxic material to non-toxic forms. Like suppose there are toxic chemical or something, microorganism will react with it and they will convert it into the non-toxic form. This process, that is non-toxic form, this process is known as bioremediation. And bioremediation, you may also say that this is also part of treating sewage because that's the place where the toxic material is present. Now let me think about more points. Okay, so you can say that microorganisms are used in making vaccines also. There are bacterial vaccine, viral vaccines. So it helps in preparation of vaccine. More points? It is as a whole. If this question comes as a 5 marks question in your paper, you can just write it. And I know even 10 more points, but then I have to give it time and then I have to think. So it's better I keep on continuing teaching. And in between, if any point strikes me up, I'm going to keep telling you that. But still, I'll give few seconds to think over. Microorganisms. Preparation of medicine, food industry, chemical industry, research, genetic engineering I have mentioned. And you may also say genetic engineering experiment and genetic products. You know what, nowadays we also use microorganism for creating the products. Like suppose insulin is there. Insulin people are taking as an injection, but do you know from where that is coming? We are making this insulin with the help of bacteria. So that is also a part of genetic engineering experiment. So we are obtaining the product. Insulin is the product that we want. So that's where you can write. So I suppose these are the points, but there might be more points. Let's discuss. So the first discussion that we have to make is on food and beverage industry. So the first thing I have added up, this is lactobacillus curd. Actually, lactobacillus itself is a category, but other than that, I'm so sorry. I'm getting a call. I forgot that I have my phone just sitting up there, so I have to just cut the call. And I'm just putting this on silent. I didn't realize I did not put it up on the silent. I just threw it up because that's not required. I'm so sorry. Let's continue. Okay, so basically it's a curd, lactobacillus, and there are certain other variety of the lactobacillus also that is used, and this is a baking one. So into the baking industry. So if I ask you a question, do you know how curd is made? Yeah, you take a small oculum. Oculum in Hindi, we call it as khatta, as like in Punjabis they say. It's like a small amount of curd sample, and then you put it into the lukewarm milk. So there is a protein named casein present into the milk, which is actually, you may say, denatured. Denaturation means it's just changing its shape. So this is the one that coagulate or curdled. We use the word curdled because it's a curd. Curdled. So this is the one that is curdled, and that's why milk become thicker because of this protein casein, and lactobacillus is doing it, and oculum means a little amount of curd that we are taking. That's how we make it. Okay. So now into the curd, all the nutrient into the milk that is present, these bacteria are going to grow, and they are going to just grow because that's the only requirement that they have. Milk is enough nutrition for them. Okay, so then one more thing, renin is also there. I don't know whether you know milk whey, we call it as lassi, na? There also renin enzyme is used. This renin, na, it used to do the fermentation process. It used to ferment the milk, and then it will separate the liquid. I mean, it separates the milk into a solid part and the liquid, and the liquid one is the solid part is actually the fat, and which is the butter, and then there is a lassi that we take. That's the fermentation process that we do with the help of renin enzyme. That's in the food and beverage industry. Second, you can just say about this baking industry. I don't know whether I have the space here or not. Okay. I have the space. Lactobacillus, that is a friendly bacterium. It treats and prevent diarrhea, helping. Have you heard the word stomach flora? Digestive flora, you may say. Digestive flora, as in which is present in the digestive system. E. coli and other bacteria present in our digestive system. Probiotic also, if you go into the medicine shop, probiotics products like yogurt, curd is there. So actually they are full of these flora microorganisms which actually help in digestion. If there are tablets also in the market, which is good for the digestive system, they're also full of the bacteria. We call it as the probiotic medicine. And lactobacillus is also among them. So they prevent diarrhea, they increase the absorption of nutrient into our body, and they help in easily breakdown of the food. I have taken a few days back, I had some stomach problem, but yeah. Baking industry. Saccharomyces cerevisiae is very famous example. This is known as baker's yeast. Yeast is not an organism. Yeast is a category. Yeast is a category. It is a fungus. It belongs to kingdom fungi. It is a category and it has number of examples under it. So Saccharomyces cerevisiae is one of the yeast, which is baker's yeast. This is used in baking, fermentation process and baking also. Clear? Fair enough? Okay. So this is in the bakery, and also Saccharomyces cerevisiae, this is also used in brewing as an alcohol formation. Brewery industry, you must say. So yeah, while they react, what do? They convert glucose. I'm talking about the yeast. They convert glucose into the alcohol, energy, and CO2. That is without oxygen. You know what? This is a fermentation process. Fermentation process is actually anaerobic respiration. This is a fermentation process, the one that I've written, the reaction, fermentation process. And this is also known as anaerobic. Anaerobic respiration means when respiration happens in the absence of oxygen. And this is also fermentation where the product is alcohol. So this is used in alcohol industry. Energy molecules are formed, and yeah, that's it. I suppose that's clear to you. So fermentation is very much famous process, I will say, because it is used in making so much of the alcohol products. Now we have to move forward. We are done on this part. Okay, that's baking product. I would literally want to read it. These are all the alcohol product and they are made that should not be consumed too much, but yeah, you can go for this one, and that too also not too much consumed. Let's move forward. Done watching the picture. Now let's talk about the next one, which is in production of medicines and vaccines. Okay. Mainly bacteria and fungi, they are used in making medicines and vaccines. The picture that you see now, do you know who he is? That question can be asked in some quiz. Edward Jenner. Sorry, something problem with the writing. I don't know why that's happening. I got it sorted. Okay, so he is Edward Jenner, who has done so much of the research work on vaccination. Now, point is that bacteria and fungi, they are used in making mainly, and even viruses also, they are used for making vaccines. But right now, first, I'm going to talk about the antibiotics. If I ask you a question, what is antibiotic? What will you say? Antibiotic, they are the medicines which are produced from microorganism and used to kill the microorganism. It can be produced from bacteria or fungi or even protozoa, protista, and they are used to kill them. Isn't it interesting? Actually, antibiotic is a protective phenomenon in them. Like some bacteria are having antibiotic property against streptomycin. It's an antibiotic. It's a property to protect themselves, but they are also the one they are forming it. We can extract it and we can use it on another bacteria. Anyways, so there are many examples of antibiotic. For example, penicillin, and then there is tetracycline. Tetracycline. I think I have to stop the screen share and come back again because the writing, I don't feel that's getting smooth. Give me a second. I suppose now you're able to see me, and I suppose this pen must working good. So basically what I was saying, that antibiotics are released from bacteria and fungi, and they are used to kill the penicillin, used to kill used to kill themselves itself. And examples are penicillin, tetracycline, spelling is tetracycline. I'm not writing properly today. Okay, tetracycline, and then there is kanamycin. I have a digital tab with me. I'm going to put it on my lap, and probably then I'll just write it just like that. Okay, so kanamycin, tetramycin, streptomycin is also there. So these are all the examples of the antibiotics. You know what? The interesting thing is that, not the interesting thing, that's my question to you first. How antibiotics work? I am saying that antibiotic used to kill bacteria, fungi, pathogens. Pathogen means infectious agent. How? How do they do the work? They work in a proper, they have a proper mechanism, I will say. Like suppose pathogen is there, infectious agent is there. Like suppose any bacteria is there in our body. That bacteria is growing in our body. And then we take the antibiotic. What do this antibiotic is going to do? They kill the bacteria. They kill the bacteria by a proper mechanism. Because the bacteria is surviving in our body, it is probably dividing. It is showing some metabolic reactions, metabolic as in growth reactions. Antibiotics are going to interrupt in that process, into the metabolism, into the reproduction, into the way they are surviving. Probably they might affect the cell wall. They might affect the protein formation. See, okay, that's a video on how do vaccine work. I'll come to this later after. But for now, I have to show you. This is the blank picture I'll explain for explaining you vaccine. Okay, vaccine will come later. It's a blank space. I'll come back here. I'm going to use that. So these are the antibiotics. They work against number of pathogens. Now, in this picture, they have written examples that cell wall synthesis, they might interrupt the cell wall synthesis. These are the example: penicillin, cephalosporin, carbapinims, monobactams, vancomycin. These are the ones which interrupt with cell wall synthesis of the bacteria or pathogen. The pathogen is surviving into our body, and they are going to make the cell wall synthesis interrupt. Because when cell wall synthesis interrupt, they will not able to survive. They will not able to divide. In the same here, nucleic acid synthesis, these are the example which interrupt the nucleic acid synthesis. You know what? Beta galactams are present on the cell wall. They eat it up. They destroy it. DNA gyrase is an enzyme which used to be present inside the nucleus. So these quinolones are the one which will affect DNA gyrase enzyme. Actually, nucleic acid synthesis means DNA and RNA. When DNA and RNA, you must have heard about DNA RNA. This is the genetic material present inside the cell. It's too much of information because as I have added the picture, I'm going to make sure that you understand it. Nucleic acid is the chemical chromosomal part which is present inside the nucleus. Chromosome is made up of DNA. Into the DNA, there are DNA gyrase, the RNA polymerase. These enzymes are present. So these chemicals, they affect these enzymes. When these enzymes will not work, the bacteria is going to die. Because bacteria will not be able to survive because their half machinery is getting interrupted. Okay, so this one is the ribosome. Guys, I don't know whether you remember or not, but in the cell, there is a part, there is an organelle which is known as ribosome. It helps in protein formation. So these antibiotics, they are going to stop protein formation. And this is going to stop cell membrane formation. That's what I'm saying. That all the antibiotic work in a different way. You can remember one or two examples and that's it. But in this picture, they have added it up. That this is how they are going to affect. Now, I suppose that's clear to you. Antibiotic. Now, if a question come, how antibiotic work? So you might say, or you will say, they interrupt different cellular mechanism. For example, cell wall formation, because then cell will not be able to divide because it will not be having enough cell wall and it is going to burst and die. It can interrupt protein formation because cell membrane is made up of protein. So when protein will not be there, then again they will also not be able to survive. So these are just two examples, but this is how they are acting. Example is, for example, I have told you so many of example. I don't think I have to tell you. Because of cell formation, that will not happen. There might be cell lysis. Cell lysis means the cell is going to burst. Protein formation means again cell lysis that can happen because cell membrane is also made up of the protein. So I suppose that is clear to you. And now let me think in your notebook if you have something. Okay. So one more question can be asked. That what are the precautions while that I'm just looking over the heading so that I can just be in the sequence. If a question asks, what are the precautions that should be taken during antibiotic? First, you should take it from the skilled person. Skilled doctor should be there who knows all about the antibiotics because it's a chemical. You should not take it just like that. That's for one single disease. You take one antibiotic, something like that. That should be from the skillful person. And it should be taken in proper amount. If a doctor is saying one, that means one. And doctor recommendation is must. Not take it just like that. In India, people just do it. I know this, but then yeah. Okay. Okay. So on the screen now, I suppose you might be wondering what this picture are. Antibiotic, actually, they used to be of two type. Broad utilitarian, or you may say broad spectrum. Sorry, BROAD, and the narrow. Broad spectrum antibiotics and narrow spectrum antibiotics. Broad spectrum means when they can be used in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 disease. Narrow spectrum means very specific. One for one pathogen, one medicine for one disease only. So this is example of narrow spectrum: penicillin, lincosamide, glucopeptide, streptogramins, rifamycin. For particular kind of infection only, then these antibiotic are taken. But talking about this, if a person is having uh, more than 2, 3 problem, or the antibiotic can be used in this problem also, that problem also, then this is the one. This is broad spectrum. Now I suppose that's clear to you. The next thing that we have to talk about is vaccine. Why I've added this picture? I cannot read this. What language is this? It's medicine. It's a vaccine actually. Now let's understand the concept of vaccine. I have not added any blank space, and I don't have. I have utilized it now. It's okay. We have to discuss vaccine. It's in your syllabus. Doesn't matter. I'm not able to see right now, but let me stop my screen share, add one blank slide, and let's talk about the vaccines. Stop the screen share, escape the presentation. That's what I'm doing right now. Keep the data, open the presentation, and new slide, new slide. I have added 2 slides now. It doesn't have the askIITian logo, but that's fine. Okay. Put it on screen share. I suppose now you're able to see my screen. Let's talk about the vaccine. What happened? Okay. Nowadays, people have heard about vaccine. Matlab, there was a time when no one knew about what is vaccine. And then there is pandemic. Everyone know about immunity, antibodies, vaccines, structure of viruses. This is something now everyone know. I mean, I will say people are getting more educated. That's so nice, na? So now even you might be listening to this like, okay, that's something we know already, but that's fine. It's my work, it's my job to do, to tell you about the vaccine first. Vaccine. I will not say anything about the vaccine because before that, we need to understand a little about the immune system of the body. Our body used to have the immune system. Our body used to have the WBCs, part of blood. They are the very strong and very important part of the immune system. Wherever they are in the blood, in other vessels, that's immune system. Immune system is not like a particular system like digestive system, excretory. It's like immune system everywhere. Even my skin is also immune system because that's protecting me from external environment. So on that introduction, I will say there are two types of immunity present in our body. One is innate and one is acquired. Innate immunity is the one that is present since birth. For example, I'm saying my skin or maybe tear or maybe saliva in mouth, or you may say mucus in the nose or inside the respiratory tract, body temperature, sweat. These all make the innate immune system that's present in our body and they're protecting us. Acquired immune system, it consists of mainly immunocyte, we call it as the lymphocytes. Cells of the lymphatic system. WBCs include, actually lymphocyte is a type of WBC, simply saying, okay? So lymphocyte. Lymphocytes are present in acquired. It used to be very specific. Like suppose any infectious agent of this shape, this acquired, and this lymphocyte actually they are the one that produce antibodies in our body. Antibodies are the one that kill the pathogen. So lymphocyte will release antibody and it is going to kill that pathogen. Firstly, it will make shape like a pathogen to hold it up. They're very specific, fitting each other. Then they kill it up. That's how it happened. So lymphocytes are the cells which produce antibodies. Are you getting my point? Normally there are lymphocytes in our body. But when we get any infection or something, then these lymphocytes produce antibodies. Actually, when any pathogen attack our body, then this lymphocyte not only produce antibodies, they produce memory cells also. Memory cells are the one that take imprint of the pathogen. So the next time when the same pathogen comes, they already know that, yeah, that was the one. And they're ready already. Okay. Now, talking about the vaccine. Vaccine actually evoke the memory cells. If we take the vaccines are that much stronger that they do not cause the disease, but they attack memory cells. They only give the imprint of themselves to the memory cell that they are able to, fight. That's why polio vaccine, you must have got the injection in your childhood. More the diseases, more the vaccine. Now I imagine I have a baby. I imagine he's going to have injection of COVID someday because that's also one viral attack has been there, but everyone is going to be vaccinated. Okay, so the more the disease, more the vaccine. Now coming back here, vaccines are the one which are attacking the memory cells and just giving the imprint. They're not causing the disease. Though there can be a little side effect like little feverish, body ache, headache or something, but that's not too much. It's handled. Just for 1 day or 2 days, that's it. Your body is making its immune system ready. What I want to say, a baby is having in its immune system since birth. Acquired, we are creating it. Or maybe atmosphere is also helping it to create. There are a number of viruses, number of pathogens. So body come in contact, it become ready to fight. And then we give additional vaccines to the kids. There are so many vaccines. You should search about it. I have a list, but that's not required right now. But yeah, people get confused at this point. Now let me tell you what is a vaccine. Vaccine, this is defined as, let me change the pen color first. What do you like? I like the green one. Vaccine, this is defined as, you may say not defined as, it include weak, or you may also say attenuated. Attenuated means weak pathogen. This pathogen, this is not able to cause the disease, but it evokes immune system, means memory cells. immune system, it means memory cells. So body is not going to be harmed, but they are going to be having enough information about the vaccine. Now it can be weak or attenuated one. Now let me tell you types of vaccines. Vaccines are of different types. See, our main work is to that the body should act, body should have the information in the memory cell that, yeah, that was the pathogen I have to fight against with. And the main concept is that we have to just evoke the memory cells. So vaccine can be made by different parts of the pathogen. I will be using the pathogen, I'll be using the infectious agent, but I can use different part of it. Like suppose there is whole organism vaccine. Whole organism vaccine means that I am using the whole organism, but that's a weak one. It is not causing the disease, but it is evoking the immune system. Then there can be peptide vaccine, protein vaccine. Peptide means protein, remember it. Means I am using protein part of the virus or the bacteria. Peptide vaccine. You may say DNA vaccine. I'm using the DNA of the bacteria. And then there are RNA vaccine. I'm using the RNA part. So whatever part I'm using into the virus, suppose, imagine I'm using the virus, that on the basis of that we categorize vaccine. Now, because you people have gone through a big pandemic, and that was the time when you get to know there are different type of vaccine. And I don't know, but there are many companies like Pfizer, Moderna, and AstraZeneca, whatsoever. They people were producing vaccine. If you read the detail, they also told that which part of the pathogen we are using to make the vaccine. Some were messenger RNA vaccine, some were protein vaccine. They were using different part of the coronavirus to make the vaccine. And that's how we just, divide it. And that's what it is, just evoking the memory cells in our body. These are the examples. Now, I don't have to give you further examples of the vaccine. Yeah, it's used in smallpox, it's used in polio, it's used in corona again. Okay, with this, we are done with the vaccine. Yeah, and if a question come in your paper now, what is fever? Fever means your body is fighting against the pathogen. Your body temperature increases. That would exactly fever. Into the fever, there's a little sickness, body ache, and that stuff. Your body temperature increases. Now I'm looking into the book actually, that if there is some any point we are left with, I suppose we have, done everything. One point I have forgot to tell you. We are done. One point I forgot to tell you, that father of vaccine you may see is Edward Jenner. I'm writing it up there, but Edward Jenner is the one who for the first time discovered a vaccine. He was working on cowpox. I know that you know the history of vaccine. You must know that Edward Jenner studied the people who were the milkmaid. Milkmaid were regularly coming in the contact with cow, and cow was having a disease, cowpox. But then milkmaid did not have the disease of smallpox, because being in contact with cows all the time, their body got immune. It's the same pathogen. That's what. That's where he got the idea that one pathogen can provide immunity to another. If you did not understand it up, move back and listen to me again. Now you see the question: how to avoid spreading of the microorganisms? When you come home, keep washing your hands, coughing, sneezing. I don't wish like to, I don't want to speak it up, just read it up. Shall I tell you how to wash your hand? That's what we have been learning throughout, the lockdown thing. Why I'm talking about the COVID again all the time? It's been boring, but that's fine. It's something that it's very informative. Vaccines are made up of weak microorganisms. Viruses, they should not give the option viruses, but weak microorganism is the option that's correct. Because that's not like a complete, even if whole organism vaccine is there, that is also weak microorganism. We do not use the whole pathogen. It's always weak. They can produce antibody against the disease causing, so vaccine can be injected or administered. Like polio vaccine, it's given in the form of injection, also it's given in the form of orally from the mouth. Both kind of vaccines are there. While baking, I've told you this, you've known that. That's the reason that when it is producing carbon dioxide, that's the reason that into the cakes there are bubbles, there are spaces, air spaces, large spongy structure. This is the reason. Okay, the texture, that's what I mentioned. Okay, so I did not add thank you there. I thought I've added it up. It's okay. I'm going to stop the screen share. I'm done on this, by the way. So basically, guys, we are done on very, very nice information onto the microorganism, vaccine, food, and beverage industry. Now, further on to the microorganism, I'll see you up in the next part. Till the time, bye-bye, take care. And then if you have any doubt, what you have to do, you don't know, see me in the next part. I'll tell you. Bye.